Yeah.
So is it just elitism or
It's like, I mean, I'll use a reference of like, the bar again. Like there's a bar right down the street from where I work, and their whole like spiel is, it's like they're open Fridays and Saturdays. Like you go in, get bottle service, get the whole experience. It's a party bar, like it's a cool bar or whatever. But like there will be people that will go in there and spend thousands and thousands of dollars
yeah,
on a $60 bottle of Tito's
yeah,
and a
Yeah.
section, and be surrounded by girls and guys that don't really give a fuck about them. But in today's society, if you have money and if you
Yeah.
have like that reputation, quote unquote, then you've made it. But in reality, if you're driving a fucking Ferrari to a job that you hate, is it really success?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's a
and I
great.
feel like people go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's a.
It's okay. You can
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just saying that, like, I don't know. I feel like people are just very like they're about the wrong things. Like it's not about money, and it's not about cars, and it's not about you being able to spend buying this girl that you met, like all her drinks for the night, and then her going home and you never seeing her again, and then you being like, oh yeah, I have all this money, but like you're putting it on credit cards. You're putting
Right.
it on, this is not really your money that you're spending right now. You're just doing this to flaunt and make yourself. It's all about the way you treat people. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
or
So that's what
regardless of
makes
their race.
me, which makes me, go back to the point of, is it truly white privilege, or is it just the person that's in front of you because they have their own insecurities that they're projecting, and this is how they cope with it by being, hey, I make X amount of dollars, therefore this, justifies me being a douche, whether I'm black, I'm white, I'm Hispanic, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
or is it I'm behaving this way simply because I know I can because I'm white? How do you
I think
distinguish
I
those
think
two?
there's both. It's just there's both. You know what I
And
mean? Like
and
there's
I want to
both.
let Shantae get a second here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, because I want to hear you. This I love how passionate you are.
My
Yeah.
girl, Francis.
I know we gotta love Francis. Shout out to Francis. We need like the sound machine right now. Like, dub, dub, dub. Yeah, exactly. She's going nuts.
So, I honestly feel like it can become in a gray area, but at the same time, you can tell when someone is confident. You can also distinguish when someone is just cocky, or they just feel like they're better than you because they have more than you, whatever that perspective in their point of view is. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of times, like when it comes to like privilege, that is saying, oh, there's two people. Sometimes privilege don't even deal with race.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say there are two people. Oh, well, this person father plays golf with the owner. This person father does not. But the person father who does not has way more experience, way more education than the other person. But the other person got the job because they had that privilege of their father knowing the owner.
Mm-hmm.
As far as not dealing with race. And when you dealing with race, you can think about it with a job again. You got me, you got Francis. I probably have way more. It's a scenario. I'm not trying to sound better than you. I might have way more experience than Francis, a higher GPA, and also more education. Francis probably only have the education. Probably don't even have no type of experience. But Francis might get that job though just because she's white. You
Okay.
know, not necessarily on who she know or what she know, but just the based off she meet the minimum criteria, and they'll rather have a white person there than a black or Asian or Hispanic, whatever you want to say. And to
Mm.
distinguish if we're just out in a social scene, it's kind of hard because everybody have all types of different
Mm-hmm.
personalities. That's any race. you can catch a black person that comes in confident, cocky, and think they deserve certain things because they think they make XYZ type of money. And so they're gonna come in like, oh, you need to serve me, or like how someone did with Francis, oh, you racist just because he couldn't get his way,
Right.
something that he used to of getting,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. I think it's kind of hard to tell when you in like a social scene because I don't think privilege deal with like personality.
Mm.
It deals with like the opportunities you have against
Mm.
others. You can come from a two-parent household. That's a
Mm-hmm.
privilege. You can come from two successful parents. That's a
Mm.
privilege. You come from parents who have an education. Even just you, a single mother with an education, but you have another household who's a single mother with no education, or you have a father in your life, or you don't.
Mm.
It's like life things that you have in life that put you at a higher level, or that put you ahead of the race,
Right.
and everybody else got to catch up. Like with
So is that
white
so is
people.
that unfair, or is that just? I mean, because it seems like there's a saying like we all enter the forest, at a different point, right? We're all going to take different paths, but the goal is to get to the other side, and depending on where you enter the forest, you're gonna experience different things. So it's not necessarily like equality. Basically, to me, seems like impossible, right? Because you can't have equality in outcome, but we can create a system where maybe there's equality in opportunity. What do you say to that?
I feel like it's not really unfair unless unless your race is used against you, because at the end of the
Mm,
day they can't help what they're born into,
right.
and you can't help that either, because you get some people who born into great families and legacies and are druggies,
Oh
like
yeah.
they strung
Too
out.
much pressure.
It's
You
a
get
lot of
some
pressure. Yeah,
people.
it's almost like a whole nother different form of slavery,
Yeah.
honestly, because you're born into it and you have to deal with it. So, you just actually brought up something that was interesting, Shantae, which is, and I'm gonna ask you, Francis, like, what was your upbringing like? Like, did you grow up in a 2-parent household? What was the structure like?
Honestly, like I feel like I grew up with like a very like privileged like household, I guess. Like my mom was a single mom, but we lived on like an acre of land, and we had like my house and then like my grandparents' house like on the same property. So like when my mom would go to work, like my grandparents would take care of me. So like I never had to go to school like until I was like in kindergarten. Like there was just a lot of shit that I felt like I realized over the past couple of years that it's like, damn, like pretty much everybody, like kind of steering away from like the race thing, I guess, is like mental health. Like a lot of people have like mental health problems stemming from their child,
You muted Phoenix. Yeah.
have like anxiety because I had a good childhood growing up, and I feel like the way that I was structured, the saying it takes a village to raise a kid,
Mm-hmm.
which is true. Like it was me and my family and my mom, and everybody just takes care of everybody, and like we had a bunch of kids growing up too. So I feel like my cousins and stuff. So we were always being watched after by family members, and like we never had to go, to a daycare or anything, which I feel like that's a privilege in itself,
Mm.
which a
Yeah.
lot of people don't have. Like my boyfriend, he has a lot of, or not a lot, but like he suffered from mental health. He has depression and anxiety and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
from me not really having that, because he did grow up in like a crazy chaotic household growing
Mm.
up. So like to see both me and him to where we're at now in life is just crazy, considering that he's doing so well, and he came from such a broken home growing up that
Mm.
now
Mm.
he's doing like super well with his mental health and everything like that, and me who has never had to deal with anything like that before, and understanding, like that side of things as well. I just think it's crazy, like how people grow up. It really stems like how they're going to be as adults,
Yeah, absolutely.
and things that they have to unlearn and stuff.
So would you say like that? Um, being privileged is almost like a burden in a sense where you were kind of sheltered? Would you agree that maybe you were sheltered from the realities of life, or no?
I don't think that I was sheltered from anything. If anything, like I was definitely like my family was very upfront about everything. Like
Mm.
there was never like a beating around the bush if I had a question about something. Like it was very much like, "Hey, look, this is what life is. This is what you're going to experience." And that's just the fact of it. These are the tools that you're going to have to like successfully like get through life. Like these knowledge is power. Like if you teach your kids about drugs and alcohol and all of the bad things in life, I feel like they're less likely to go out and be crazy and like, oh, hey, kids are going to try no matter what. They're going to try alcohol and they're going to try drugs at some point in their life. I feel like education is so important because if you're sheltering your kids from everything, like just because I didn't have like a crazy upbringing, that doesn't mean that my experience is less than somebody else's.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't know. Like it's crazy looking at like everybody's individuality and like what they take from their experiences growing up, like how they use that to be a better person or to change their life around or whatever.
Yeah, awesome. So Shantae, what was your upbringing like? Like, did you grow up in a 2 parent household, or what was that? So,
So my mother was a single mom until she met my stepfather. And so we grew up in a two-parent household,
how
but
old were you when they got together?
I was 8 when they first started dating.
Okay, and you have siblings?
Yes, it was me and my brother by my father, and then my two younger brother by my stepdad.
Okay.
Um, I would say my father was there more so like a financial aspect
Mm.
instead of like more of an emotional and psychological way.
Mm.
So